So long as a strong man, fully armed, guards his own palace, his goods are undisturbed. But when someone stronger than he is attacks and defeats him, the stronger man takes away all the weapons he relied on and shares out his spoil. If the soul is in a state of serious sin, its immune system is down. If, in addition to that, it is spending all its interior energy on much activity, with little time for intimacy with the Lord, it is easy prey for incomplete teaching. Why? The Lord is not the interior master. The Lord cannot get through. It risks not having the mind of Christ. This gospel is about Beelzebul. In an exorcism in America about a century ago, Father Theophilus had to do with Beelzebul, and he was curious that he should be coming out of this exorcism, declaring his name, because he had to, and indicating why he was there. It was by command of Lucifer, and it turned out that there was perfect order in hell. Such exorcisms were allowed so as to indicate what we cannot see, but what is really there. That Luciferic force wants our harm, and we know is out to destroy our soul and the means of saving our soul, the Church. In 1985, something happened in Ireland which shook the whole land. It was dismissed by some, but not by the simple people. All the Lourdes statues, the statues of Lourdes grottos, began to move. And Our Lady appeared to about 5 young men in Mount Melleray. Barry died not long afterwards in a motorcycle accident, but we know some of the things that were said. And one thing was this, that we had 10 ears, and if we didn't listen to her, the devil would take over the church. No one could understand those words at the time. The church cannot be taken over by the devil, but he can try pretty hard. There are other prophecies to the effect that it will seem eventually that all is lost. Things will get so bad that it will seem that he has had the victory. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, it will all be reversed. Our Blessed Lady will intervene. With regard to the Church, it is more than its members, and it is not run like a democracy. We are part of the mystical body, and the Spirit is its life. Certain things have always been there and cannot change. St. Vincent of Lerins, in his Commentarium, has this teaching. The Commonitorium has it quite clear, and it was taken up by the great Newman, soon to be canonized, in his essay on the development of Christian doctrine. It is fitting that Christian doctrine too should follow these laws of development. He's talking about the human body. So that with the passage of years it may be strengthened, with time it may make progress, and with age it may achieve greater profundity. Long ago, our ancestors sowed the seeds of the faith in the field of the church. It would be quite incongruous and wrong if their descendants were to reap the weeds of error in place of the harvest of truth. He goes on in the same vein and concludes, so then, when something evolves from those first beginnings, as from seeds, it should now be received with joy and cultivated with care. We care for what we have received, and we are not in charge of it. It must be handed on in its integrity. We have the living tradition of the Church. We have the sacred scriptures, which have come as an integral part of the deposit. When combined, and also combined with the living tradition, which is the lex orandi of our prayer, our liturgy, then we can see exactly what cannot change. St. Paul, St. Ignatius of Antioch, the Apostolic Fathers, and the Fathers of the Church, the period of the Councils, all indicate quite clearly that the threefold ministry of Episkopos, Presbyteros, and Diakonos are part of the same and are conferred only on males from the beginning and by divine disposition. St. Paul is very clear on the role of deacons and on those who teach in church. The way in which man thinks he can vote in something of his own making and expect the Holy Spirit to follow indicates that man is coming into that situation of a low immune system. He is not listening. He cannot, he is becoming noisy and is listening to other men and other women. The Holy Spirit is the life of the Church and not the loudest decibel around. Moreover, it has been defined. It was clear in Ordinatio Sacerdotalis of St. John Paul II, which actually, I remember, came out when I was in Rome and created a great stir, that it was being placed as part of the magisterium of the Church on the level of infallibility. The language is so strong that it was understood that way and meant to be understood that way. Therefore, it is not up for grabs. And if one tries to ordain, for instance, a person who is non-baptized, that person is not a vas capax, a capable vessel, a vessel capable of holding the order. It would not pass. And so if one tries to lay episcopal hands on someone who is not a male for any of the 3 degrees of the same order, it will not pass. It is not a vas capax, not capable of holding. Electricity only passes through certain conduits, and so too the Holy Spirit will not stamp a vessel not capax. God is God and man is man, and the Church belongs to God as the means of salvation of man, If we think we can save ourselves by our own means, our immune system is so low that we don't realise how spiritually weak and ill we have become.